Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to some more Attilla Total War, the Dawnless Days overhaul mod. And welcome back to Middle-earth. So, we have a battle against the elves in front of us with the one and only legendary Lurtz, the first of the fighting Uruk-hai, going up against 2 units of cavalry and 1 onager. Well, I wish, right? I wish. No, there's a very large army over there indeed. Thing is, we need to get to it, and we need to start fighting it. Problem is, I'm not quite sure how to provoke them into fighting me. I was hoping they would march down towards me, but they've decided not to. And I gather the reason for that is their artillery. I mean, it's what I would do, right? If I had artillery, I would just sit in the back and wait for the enemy to approach instead. But they also have some weaknesses. Namely, the Lorien sentries are tier 1 archers with poor melee defense and very poor armor. I just so happen to have 4 cavalry units, and I get the feeling that I can hit the extreme edges of the enemy's flanks and inflict some massive casualties before the main part of the battle even begins. For a second I thought this was a projectile fired by the onager. It is not. There's the onagers firing away. They've hit 1 warg. And I mean, that is something, but in these initial charges we're going to do a lot of damage to the enemy, and they just don't have a powerful enough center, I believe, to hold on to any of this. Unfortunately, their archers are very, very good, despite being only tier 1. And if I can trade 1 for 1 with my cavalry and their archers, I would be more or less a happy individual. Doesn't quite seem to be the case, though, and despite my continued insistence that my cavalry should retreat, they continue to fail to obey that order. And so we're going to lose that cavalry unit. Although the wargs on the other, the wargs on the other side are doing much, much better. Alright, let's retreat these guys as well and see if we can save maybe 1 more cavalry unit and 1 more cavalry charge for later. Like how we still haven't broken these guys. I think 1 more charge ought to do it, right? Just turn around and charge in again. Well, we did break them. Just haven't shattered them yet. There you go. That's good enough. And then get out of the way. With half of this unit still alive. Not ideal. Although, to be fair, I fully expect to be losing these cavalry units more or less in their entirety for this battle. I mean, okay, not literally the entire unit to get wiped out, but I'm expecting to lose a significant chunk to the point where they're going to be more or less useless for the next few battles. Now, I'm going to move up like so. Just a tiny bit. Get these guys in range of the enemy horse archers. And my spearmen are relatively well armored, so suffice it to say I expect success on this flank. This, though, is a disaster. This is a dead unit here. If we can get, like... Oh, no, we're not going to get any of them out. Okay. Okay. Any particular reason for only half of my unit firing here? Can we increase that number, please? Okay, there you go. Now, the moment they start charging forwards towards me, I should be able to overmatch them with superior melee forces. But you know how it goes. Sometimes it's not so ideal. Okay, yeah, I need to go after these guys on the flanks over here. Got a lot of archers there. My crossbowmen can't really compete. Like, not really. But I can try and chase down a large number of the enemy units. And get them moving and get them to stop shooting at me. And that will make my job easier in the long run. I'm very sad about losing that one warg unit. I think we haven't lost a single unit thus far. Well, apart from units in siege defenses, right? But those don't really count. Not that I love them less than any of my other fighting Urukai. Just don't let them hear that, but you know. Still love to. Keep them intact as much as possible. I mean, this is an obvious problem that they're going to infinitely run away from me, but I don't really mean to catch those units, so this is just more of a scare tactic. And this is why you hate fighting the elves, because my guys are just crawling along at snail's pace. I mean, supposedly they are running, but you tell me if that looks like running. And the enemy can just retreat fire bows ad infinitum. So yeah. You do with that information as you please. Unfortunately, for me, the enemy forces appear to choose a, how should I put this, less than ideal strategy for me. And that is to skirmish with absolutely everything. But what can you do? More cry to break their morale. Although, I mean, once they reach the edge of the map, I suppose they can't run anymore, right? There's at least that. In fact, that will help me out a little bit. But, what are casualties looking like? We've lost over 600 men. Look at this. They've gotten to the very edge of the map and they're still trying to run away. It's, dare I say it, it's a little bit hilarious. Alright, I mean, that'll do. We've chased them down. Although, they're infantry, and they're running away from me rather successfully. I wanna... Do I have that stat, even? Speed 45. We have speed 42. Speed on the Hillman is 43. Yeah, I was hoping that with all the buffs and everything, I would have I would have more speed on the enemy, but I suppose not. Nah. Although for once, this result makes it so I can pursue the enemy down. And have that be a very sensible option for me. But yeah, we did lose one of the wargs. Right, and let's just auto-resolve against these guys too. And, okay, pursue and it still didn't do anything. Okay. One last battle, I'm hoping. And there you go. Now you can go back to Ginsburg, because it's a little bit ridiculous what you have to go through. I mean, the fact that they can even invade from this area is... not ideal, is how I'm going to choose to describe that, and leave it at that. But I could say a lot more. I'm just not going to. Alright, and then you could use a commander. Now, these guys have sort of moved away. I am supposed to be fighting this army, but I would be remiss if I didn't think about engaging with these folks instead. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. Okay, and they're going to retreat. Okay, tell you what, you can stay there. This will be a good fight. Oh, yes. This will be a very good fight. Let's go. I'm just getting some achievements for playing with a number of enemies killed and stuff like that. Okay, rain. Yeah, sure, we can fight in the rain. It seems very Isengard-y. And the enemy deploys first. Okay, so I want to put down my troops like so. Put the pikemen on the flanks. Guard against the enemy cavalry. And get all of my crossbows in the front. front and center, as it were, to fight against the enemy. And then I have certain plans as to how to deploy further. I'm going to use some Warhammer 3 tactics and see how well they work here. Usually, they don't. The previous Warhammer 3 tactics I tried usually didn't go over too well with this game, but you never know, right? Okay, where's my range with the artillery? Okay, that's good. That is good. I will receive reinforcements from the flank over here. That's also pretty good. Good spot to be getting reinforcements. I mean, provided the enemy isn't getting reinforcements from the exact same spot, which I don't think they are. Okay, the unit cards are a little bit out of order. But here they come. So I have to deploy all of them manually, obviously. Going on the flanks, and then cavalry is also going on the flanks. And then whenever you're ready, you can actually turn around and fight these guys like so. And you, save for your artillery, and start moving up to engage the enemy. You're going to be very important for this war, though. And again, save for your artillery. I really am going to need you to hurry along and get within range of these guys with everything you have. Because we're fighting two parallel battles right now, is what we're doing, right? It's not one battle, it's actually two. It just looks like one. It's one battle disguised as... sorry, it's two battles disguised as one. That's what's going on. I think getting this close to the enemy is also going to make them a bit... maybe not necessarily scared, but certainly will have an effect on their performance, I would say. Oh, the wargs let me charge in on their rear archers relatively quickly and then pull out as well. Of course, I'm going to have to give this order like 15 different times. Because they're just going to refuse to obey. Okay, artillery can shoot at the guys in the rear. Kind of didn't... I looked at the minimap, I saw this, and I thought it was... thought it was an enemy archer or skirmish unit. I was like, ah, okay, that's no worries about that. Although, I mean, my crossbowmen should have relatively good melee defense stats to the point where this isn't a huge concern for them. And of course, the moment we win this battle, Anduin's Vale is not entirely helpless, but, you know, it's not like they're going to be world's greatest position either. And then, yeah, you can just sort of come at me slowly. That'll be just fine. I'll just redirect the artillery to hit something more useful. This is what I'm talking about. We get to engage their rear troops. And I even get to outflank them this way. Don't I? That is very nice. An enemy general has been killed. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty much it. This is the battle. We're really going to need to get those pikes down and turn the other way, you know. You, on the other hand, need to get out of there. Taking a few too many casualties. That's okay, you can hit the rear. You can hit the flanks. You can support the guys on the flanks. What about over here? Let's just make sure we know who we're shooting and who is the enemy. The pikes are really good at just holding a line like this and not really getting themselves into too much trouble. That's realistically all you need out of them. These my war riders that I've neglected a little bit, yeah. Let them face enemy spears, not my wisest choice. But what can I do? Oh, look at that! It's time to send in the reserve troops as well. Of course, the battle's turning in our favor. The outcome of this battle was never in doubt. I thrive in chaotic situations like this when I can throw caution to the wind a little bit and just try and get the best possible performance out of each and every one of my units. Absolutely thrive, I tell you. I didn't use the sappers, more or less on purpose, because look at them. Does that look like a healthy unit that can, you know, do damage and survive to you? I don't think so. And so, as a result, you know, we're just gonna let them do their thing. I think it's time to take a look at the casualties. We have lost about 600 men versus the enemy's, at this point we could say 5,000, right? They've lost more or less everything. Well, they appear to be retreating with a few things still intact. Well, not least of which their supply wagons. Right. Yeah. But let's just stop the artillery from firing. And there you go. Victory achieved. So that was 2 armies of Anduin's Vale. Absolutely gutted. whereas my armies will continue to receive reinforcements and replenishment in the area. To be fair, not that much in the way of reinforcements and replenishment, but regardless, they will receive at least something, whereas the enemy will get nothing from me. Absolutely nothing. And we'll just send these guys over to reinforce the settlement in case it gets attacked. And there we go. Okay, lovely. And we're building another Legion of Uruk-hai. Look at that. Look at that. Well, tell you what, ladies and gents, as much as it hurts me to say it, I feel like this is going to have to be the end of the video. And the end of the series as well. Because all the interesting battles have already been fought, right? I mean, sure, I can go back up here and seize all this territory. And there is a lot to be seized, like the Middle Vale, the North Vale, or the Upper Vale, if you will. Then the Woodland Realms, and going all the way to Gundabad is fine, don't get me wrong, but it's just not really something I want to do, unfortunately. Yeah. And, you know, with this battle, I think we've pretty much sealed the fate of Anduin's Vale. I'm strength ranking 4. Strength ranking 1 is Mordor, 3 is Haradrim Empire, Rune is... Oh, that's all the Haradrim Empire. Well, that's probably the other evil faction over here is then 2nd, right? Anduin's Vale just got knocked down to 5th, and then Erebor and all the potential enemies up north that I can face are going to be way weaker than me, so there's no real reason to fight them. And as far as Sauron is concerned, well, the whole diplomacy thing with them isn't really ironed out, or isn't really a thing at all. Yeah. I'm going to say it now that I've played through the entire thing. The mod seems a little bit shallow, in that it seems to be lacking some scripting and some depth that could definitely, I think, add to the experience. It's lacking a chunk of the map, obviously, but okay, that'll get added later down the line, fine. And it's lacking a lot of the magic, and I don't mean that in some sort of philosophical sense of the, you know, feeling of Lord of the Rings or whatever. No, that's all fine and well. It's lacking literal magic, right? Trolls, creatures, stuff like that. Wargs and reskinned infantry is pretty much all we have, and, you know, I don't mind it. A more gritty, realistic take on Lord of the Rings with these battles sort of being in the primary focus. That's okay, but I am missing some Nazgul. I am missing some more ludicrous things that I, you know, hoped that late-game armies would possess. But whatever the case may be, it was fun. I definitely do not regret playing it or anything like that. I recommend that you try it out for yourselves. It's pretty gosh darn good. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you very much for watching this series, and I'll be back with something new very soon. Until then, have fun, take care, and I'll see you in another video. Bye-bye.